It was probably 3 years ago. I had basically like the roughest week of my life. Another girlfriend and I broke up. I got fired from my job the next day, and she had kicked me out of the place we were living, and so I went into work the next day going to ask my boss if I could crash at his house for a while, and before I got a chance to ask that, he said, "You're fired." That was Manly Rods. And then 2 days after that, where I'm now like homeless and unemployed, my uncle, who's my closest relative beside my parents, he took his own life very unexpectedly, as is always the case. So anyways, I found myself feeling sorry for myself, and it was this kind of big transition and crossroads in my life, and I don't know what it was, but I realized that now I'm unemployed and single, and like if there was ever a time to try to make a change and do something that I love, that would be the best time. When y'all open tomorrow morning?
7 to 2 tomorrow.
7 to 2. Whew. Yeah, so here we are at Pack. If you zoom out, we're gonna head north. We're gonna go follow this kind of main channel, this main river up. Yeah. And then we're gonna cut in there on the right. Link your bullseye.
Pair my bullseye.
There it is. Good to go.
Let's go get
Let's
it.
do it, bro. Let's go. Piece of cake.
Yeah, man, so I've lived in a travel trailer for going on 2 years now, full time. It's obviously quite the adjustment. But I love it, I mean, some people look at it and say, oh, you've confined your life to this little 30-foot box, but really I've kind of expanded my life, my home, to be wherever I want it to be. So it really allows me to kind of follow the seasons, follow the fish. If I, hear that it's going off and the Outer Banks, North Carolina, well, I can just take my house there and go fish there for a month if I want to. So it's really kind of allowed me to sort of always be in season. And since I fish full time for a living, that's been pretty much a game changer. Oh man, beautiful fish. Go ahead and tap the bullseye once, mark this guy in the ANGLR app. Nice! Red drum, redfish. We'll be eating some of these guys for dinner later, but I'm gonna let this little guy go. There's a nice surprise. There's my first keeper flounder. These fish are delicious. They're a flatfish like halibut. They sit on the bottom, camouflage perfectly with the sand, and they're actually born like a normal fish with one eye on each side of their body. And as they grow older, one eye migrates to the other side so that both their eyes are on one side and they swim sideways. Really bizarre fish, but they are delicious. This guy's gonna go back. He's gonna hit the grill. Probably about 6 years ago now, I had broken up with a girlfriend, a longtime girlfriend, and suddenly kind of found myself with a bunch of free time and was just like, I need a hobby. And I discovered a video of this guy named Drew Gregory, who I'm friends with now. He was going down a river called the Devil's River in southwest Texas on the Mexican border. And he was living in the kayak for 5 days, catching all these fish, and I just watched it and was like, that is an adventure, like that. I want to do that. And a few days later, I went out and bought a kayak, a GoPro, and a fishing rod. And the rest, as they say, is history. And yeah, and coincidentally, a year later, I went down the Devil's River and actually won Video of the Year in the Kayak Angler Choice Awards for the film that I put out for it. So it really kind of came full circle just a year after I got started. And I think that really kind of helped catalyze me jumping in head first and really committing myself to this. To become a good fisherman, you have to become an amateur meteorologist, biologist, botanist, geologist. There's just so many different things you got to put together, and I've learned so much about just the natural world around me. Like just out there today, I'm talking about hydrilla and all these different grasses and the wildlife out there and stuff, and it's stuff that I never would have known or even cared to know about before I got into fishing, but fishing's kind of forced me to learn about all these different things, and it's pretty incredible. And honestly, it's probably my favorite part about fishing really is like being out there and just kind of like observing nature, and you kind of get front row seats to like the best show on Animal Planet every time you're out there if you just kind of pay attention. And that's really what is so great about the kayak, because you're quiet, you don't have this engine roaring and fumes and gas leaks and all this stuff. Like wildlife just doesn't feel compelled to get out of your way, and so you can really get some pretty cool intimate wildlife encounters when you're using a kayak as your vessel. All right, boys, got them cleaned up. That's a lot of redfish.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna say, normally I would just cook it up, salt, pepper, maybe a little garlic, put in some olive oil, whatever, but I don't have any of those things. So we're just helping Amanda carry some stuff up here to the pack shack. Figure just let her cook it up. She cooks up people's catches all the time.
Let's do it.
This is where the magic happens. So we're gonna give them a good dip here in this egg wash with mustard, the secret ingredient. You ever had redfish, Frank?
Yeah.
Just wait. Trust my tossing's good. A+. Nice. You heard that. I can get that in writing. All the way. It's ready. Oh my God. So 1 year the Pack Shack's been here. I've been coming to Pack for many years, it feels like, and we never had a place to get any kind of food, drinks, anything like that. They opened up the Pack Shack, and it's really just kind of changed the whole place. Rex loves this place. She'll also cook your catch. Better than you can cook it, that's a guarantee. Fresh redfish, as fresh as it gets, was swimming today. One of my favorite fish to eat.
It's a treat.
I have a video I'm kind of like infamous for. It's got maybe 6.5 million views now, but I had been fishing for 5 months. I'd had a kayak for about 4.5 months and went out shark fishing. For some reason I thought it was a good idea to go try to catch a shark from the kayak by myself. Did not go well. Well, I caught my first shark, and then the weather got gnarly. I was so new, I didn't even look at the weather, and there was like a tropical storm offshore in the Gulf that I didn't even know about. So wind picked up, it got pretty gnarly, and next thing I know, I had released a shark, was looking for my anchor, and I flipped. And this lady was watching me in binoculars. I didn't know it at the time. A lady named Barbara owned a seashell shop near the beach. She saw me flip, so she called the Coast Guard. But I was able to self-rescue, but by the time I got back to the beach, there was a helicopter overhead and these guys rushing up. And so that video kind of took off and got 1 million views pretty quick, and that's really when the channel started growing quickly. And if you watch the video, it's like all throughout it, about every minute, it's like, here's me doing something dumb. Golden rule of offshore kayak fishing number 3, never go out alone. Always wear your PFD, always have a radio, and most of those things I was not doing. And so I produced the video really to kind of help other people maybe learn the easy way instead of learning the hard way like me. But that was definitely the day when I realized just how powerful the ocean is, how powerful water is, and you really cannot take it lightly. Where would I be without fishing? I'd be miserable, who knows where, doesn't even matter. Fishing has 100% changed my life, and for the better. I was wearing a suit and tie every day, living in the suburbs, had the expensive apartment and a nice car for no reason, and it was definitely out of my comfort zone when I took the leap. But really, I mean, that's how you grow. Like, that's where personal growth comes from, is doing something weird and something that you just don't feel comfortable doing. And I don't know that it even feels normal to me yet, but I've fallen in love with it, and again, I don't think I could go back to kind of the quote-unquote regular life. It seems like people that are outdoors centric, and it's very true for the RV community too, they just tend to kind of be good people, and I don't know what that is. I'm certainly happier. I feel like there's something built inside of us that, like, we're supposed to be outside, right? Like, fishing for me just kind of shifted my priorities and the things I thought were important in life and the people that I thought were important in life.
and I am unrecognizable, I would say, from 7 years ago. Definitely for the better. I wouldn't hang out with 7 years ago rap. That guy was kind of a tool. Can I say tool?